गुरुर्ब्रह्मा गुरुर्विष्णुः गुरुर्देवो महेश्वरः गुरुः साक्षात् परं ब्रह्म तस्मै श्री गुरवे नमः। तस्मै श्री गुरवे नमः। तस्मै श्री गुरवे नमः। We are in Jnaneshwari Bhavartha Deepika, chapter 18, verse number 33. धृत्यायया धारयते मन प्राणेन्द्रिय क्रियाः योगेनाव्यभिचारिण्या धृति सा पार्थ सात्विकी. And we are looking at this 33rd verse. That steadiness, that firmness, that resolve from within, that self-confidence from within, by which one holds the activities of the mind, the breath and the senses. Buddhi makes decision. We saw that before. And what does Dhriti do? It continues with the decision that you have made. So that, and make sure that the mind, the breath and the senses do not dissipate themselves and continue to work on the decision that the buddhi has made. And I gave you the example of the car last time. By means of unfailing yoga, that steadiness, O Partha, arises from sattvika quality. This is what we were looking at. And now we are at the 737th OV we were looking at, mainly 736th onwards. We read that last week. हे असो पावो उचलिला मदमुख न ठेविती खाला गरजोनी पुढा झाला सिंहूजरी तैसा जो धीरू उठलिया अंतरू मनादिके व्यापारू सांडिती उभी इंद्रिया विषयांची आगाठी अपैसया सुटती किरीटी मनमायेच्या पोटी रिगती दाही अधोर्ध्व गूढे काढी प्राण नवांची पेडी बांधोनी घाली उडी मध्यमे माझी संकल्प विकल्पांचे लुगडे सांडूनी मन उघडे बुद्धी मागिले कडे उगीची बैसे. And this we are looking at. When an elephant in rut comes, when an elephant in rut comes face to face with a roaring lion, he forgets to put his foot down, which he had raised to attack an enemy. So when the sattvic steadiness rises in the heart, all the activities of the mind, life, breath and senses come to a stop. That means, what does mind do? It desires unwanted things continuously, like a monkey going from one topic to the other, one thought to the other, one emotion to the other emotion, one imagination to another imagination. And along with it, the senses, the breath also keeps changing depending upon the emotion. And as a result, the senses also are following the emotions. Tears are coming, sometimes tears of joy, sometimes tears of misery, pain. And the senses, sometimes the mind wants to see, sometimes wants to hear, sometimes wants all of them together, but it is not possible. So, complete confusion inside, complete dissipation. So when the sattvic steadiness rises in the heart, when this resolve, this self-confidence, this Atma Bala, when it arises in the heart, all the activities of the mind. Remember one thing, when do these, if the buddhi has decided about something, we are always talking about buddhi, we saw that. Now you go and read again or listen to the talk again, what we talked about sattvic buddhi. Sattvic buddhi is not thinking about the world. It is committed to the truth. If you keep thinking about the sattvic buddhi, keeps thinking about the world, eventually it will become rajasic or tamasic and lose the plot. See, it must lead to equanimity. Our decisions by the sattvic buddhi must lead to equanimity, must lead to sakshi bhav, must lead, and that itself is the eternal. When that happens, when that type of buddhi has made that quality of decision, has that conviction and with faith, then the resolve that is required. So many times people say, Swamiji, we understand everything, but afterwards we are not in life, it is very difficult. When we are in a retreat, when we are listening for 1.5 hours, everything seems very crystal clear. But when we go out into the world, as if we were in a totally different world when we are in satsang, and when we get back into the world, or we wear the slippers, or we get out of the temple, or we leave the satsang, immediately a different world begins for us. What is that world? Relations and possessions. What is that world? Body identification. What is that world? Taking what you see is what you believe. And in satsang, what is taking place? There is nothing to see. Your eyes cannot see the self. Your mind cannot comprehend the self. Your intellect cannot conceptualize the self. And like stupid, we are all talking about it and you are hearing about it. See, yet you are attracted to this satsang. Yet we are committing our entire life to propagate that message. Why? Even if we have never seen it, our faculties cannot come to know it. Still, we are committed to it. That is dhriti. That is resolve. So your resolve, your firmness is that you will come and attend the satsang. Then why that resolve sometimes seems to be diluted when you are in the world, or sometimes completely forgotten? Because we are not practicing. Understanding, the conviction must be followed by certain practices. And what is the practice here? Either your conviction is so deep and thorough that a complete metamorphosis of your mind has taken place. It has got washed with the decision. There is no question or doubt anymore. For that you will need faith, unshakable faith. But our situation is ek pair idhar, ek pair idhar. We are convinced about what is told here also, and we are convinced about the duties of the world also, that the world is real also, that I am getting old, that I am in pain, the body is, I am in pain. No, we, even after listening to satsang, we don't say the body is in pain. Remain undisturbed. Let the mind be disturbed. You don't get disturbed. We are in 18th chapter. That's why we are speaking like this. It is the right way to look at all the equipments, the 5 sheets, in the third person. To look at them in the third person. Because that is not you. So when the sattvic steadiness rises in the heart, all the activities of the mind, life, breath and senses come to a stop. When you become convinced of sleep and you pursue sleep and you are surrendered to sleep, mind, breath and senses all come. You are not aware of them, isn't it? They slow down. Or while sleeping, are you aware of your breath? Are you aware of your body? Are you aware of seeing, hearing, touching, feeling, tasting? No. So naturally, when you are sleeping, there is no disturbance on account of emotions, imaginations, breath. Even if the breath is going ha ha hoo hoo and snoring is going on, still you are not disturbed. What to talk about the senses? They are totally at rest. Same thing happens in meditation also. Same thing happens. The principle is the same. Higher the goal, the deeper will be your abidance. The lesser, the higher the goal. If here the goal is being the self, intellect is contemplating on the self. Intellect, or even if we say equanimity or sakshi bhav, mean the intellect is making is of conviction that it is not going to be disturbed by any thought in the mind, any emotion in the mind, any stimuli in the mind. And how the subject is seeking the subject as the object. Then what will happen? Mana, prana, indriya. They will settle down, they will calm down, they will quieten down, they will become, they will not disturb. How long? As long as your stamina is. As long as your stamina is. So, if your stamina is for 1 minute, it will be 1 minute. Maybe after 2-3 months, it will become 5 minutes. Maybe another 2-3 months, it will become 15 minutes. So, slowly your stamina increases. It doesn't, your stamina doesn't increase 100% in one go. For that, regular practice is required, application is required, engagement with your conviction, meaning the subject seeking the subject as object or aware of it in spite of everything going on. That is the application that is required. And somewhere you get time, do some japa or watch your breath. All these are ways by which the mind is calmed down. Then the bond between the senses and their object automatically ceases, and all the senses enter the womb of their mother, that is the mind, instead of turning to their objects. Just as when the eyes are making an attempt to see themselves, even when they are open, and they try to look at themselves, all the colors and forms, shapes in this room, they start melting into each other. Try this right now if you have not ever done it. When the ears try to hear themselves, all the sounds become null and void by themselves. You don't have to shout at anyone, stop the sound. You become immune to it. When the tongue tries to taste the tongue, all the tastes dissolve. What do you mean by dissolve? The senses are going back to their cause. First, all the objects of the world came back to their cause, the senses. Now the senses are going back to their cause, the mind. Then the mind goes back to its cause, the consciousness. Over story. That is your goal, isn't it? And observe this. This is called Laya Prakriya. This happens. Every day it is happening. Why every day? Every moment it is happening. What scriptures are talking about is only an observation of what is already going on. Scriptures are only talking about what is already taking place. Be aware of it, catch it, and ride with it. No forcing. Ride with it. The prana which moves upwards and upwards, being blocked along with the 9 different vital airs, enters the Sushumna Nadi, and the mind being stripped of its garments in the form of desires and fancies, the intellect remains quiet behind it. Intellect remains quiet means it is equanimous, it is balanced, it is huh? And what has happened to the pranas? They have entered the Sushumna. Only when does the intellect become balanced? Only when Sushumna begins. Till then, it is only a roller coaster ride. Joy, sorrow, like, dislike, hunger, thirst, praise, insult. Up, down, back, front, inside, outside. Man, woman. Love, hate. And this is what the mind is lost in majority of the times. Except between the thoughts. But you don't have the acumen to catch it. Slow down, slow down. It will slow down only when our goal is higher. And we don't have to pump the kundalini up like, in the India you have those pumps where you pump the air into the cycle tire. लगा के एक पैर पे रखते हैं, फिर हम लगे रहते हैं, दम लगा के हैशा, दम लगा के हैशा, दम लगा के हैशा, and the tire keeps inflating. Is it like that? Kundalini inflating, you're pushing the kundalini up, you will have all unwanted experiences in that. Many diseases will happen if you force it. We don't want a bumpy ride, we want a smooth ride. Where we don't even realize that we have traveled. That will be the best, isn't it? That is a good driver. That's why Arjuna chose Krishna Bhagavan as his charioteer. Is your intellect giving you a bumpy ride? Always exposing you to the opposites? Or is your intellect equanimous? Equanimity is in the intellect. It is integrated, it is balanced, it is and it will get that way only when it is thinking of the higher. It is thinking of its source. Then automatically Jnana Shakti in the intellect is Jnana Shakti. When it is thinking of that Jnana Swarup, which is the Atma, which is its source, the Chaitanya Vastu, that is when automatically you stop shunting in the opposites, in the Dvaita, and you become calm. Because little bit shake in the mind, in the thought, in the breath, in the senses is enough to sabotage your being, that Chaitanya Vastu, because it hijacks you away. So this alert observation, initially it may be only 10 seconds, 30 seconds. That is why Dhriti, build up your perseverance, build up your steadiness, build up your commitment, build up your firmness of resolve on what you have decided, that I want to get to that undisturbed state. Consciously, not sleeping, consciously. And slowly by slowly, keep building it up, keep building it up, keep building it up. See? So when the Jnana Shakti, when the intellect is contemplating on the Jnana Swarup, which is the Atma Swarup itself, Atma Swarup itself is Jnana Swarup. And when it is steady on it, at that, unknown to you. Unknown to you means without you doing anything, initiating it, the pranas enter into the Sushumna. They come into the central channel, the channel of integrity. See? And as it is passing through the Mooladhar, Swadhisthana, Manipur, Anahata, Vishuddhi, Agya, as it is passing through these, all the duality expressing at that particular level is resolved, is checkmated, is dissolved without you doing anything. Do you dissolve the world when you go to sleep, or it gets dissolved by itself in your mind? All you did was think about sleep, isn't it? Exactly the same way. Where is the difficulty? I have to do sadhana. I have been practicing being the wife for so long. Now I want to be mother. Are there any training classes how to be a mother? Has anyone gone to a mother class? How to be a mother? If children come in front of you and the husband is here and you are thinking of the husband and talking to him, suddenly the child calls you. Do you have to wait? No, wait. What is happening? I have to do some sadhana in order to invoke the mother out of me. Is it, sir? It's automatic, isn't it? Why? Conviction with faith. There's no doubt. Just as you have no doubt that you are this body, this is also out of faith only, no? That you are this body. This is also out of faith only. Make your faith that you are of Satchidananda Swarup, you are of the nature of pure consciousness. Be convinced to that level as you are convinced that you are this body, and you cannot prove to me that you are this body. You cannot prove it to anyone that you are this body. Yet you are convinced. So, look within and find out what is that which is blocking us from accepting ourselves as the infinite one. What is that? Eventually you'll realize, I don't want to work it out. I will only think of the infinite. Automatically all the blocks will clear up. Automatically all the blocks will clear up. And that's what Jnaneshwar Maharaj is telling here. The prana which moves upwards and upwards, being blocked along with the 9 different vital layers, enters the Sushumna Nadi, and the mind being stripped of its garments in the form of desires and fancies. All these are the alphabets of the Sanskrit language, which are distributed along the various chakras. Each word, each alphabet, each consonant at every chakra level is representing some sort of duality. Fear, security, Mooladhar, desire, Swadhisthana, greed. I'm saying greed, Anahat. Compassion, Daya, heart. Indifference, Vishuddhi. See? So we have to go beyond everything, including compassion, including indifference. Because we are everything. Self is everything, one without a second. And self is nothing also, because nothing can touch it. So where is this whole world? Where is this whole universe? I'm going a bit away. No, not going away. It's in the thought process. Where is this whole world then? It is only an superimposition. It's only an imagination. Which it is only an appearance. But the truth is only the self. Accept yourself as that. In and through everything. For that, Dhruti is required. A resolve is required. To live out your conviction. To pursue your conviction. Whether it is relations, whether it is possessions, whether it is pain, whether it is happiness, whether it is joy, whether it is sorrow, they will keep coming. But is our resolve to validate joys and sorrows, pain and happiness, inside and outside? Or is our resolve to see the one, undisturbed one, the one illuminator, the one being, the one witness who is undisturbed by what is coming and going? Is that our resolve or not? Or is our resolve that duality is real? Contemplate in this manner. And this is not only in the class, this is 24/7. It requires continuous application. Continuous, I can't even say it is initially you have to remind yourself again and again and again and again till it becomes your second nature. The mind being stripped of its garments in the form of desires and fancies, the intellect remains quiet behind it. So and this is, see, you being Usha and Ravi, you being doctors, when people come to you, when they are sharing their pains, sharing their disease, you are undisturbed, only then you can help them, isn't it? So why don't we do it to ourselves? Remain undisturbed, recognize that whatever is taking place is only taking place at the equipment level, and I am other than the equipment. I am the conscious principle. I am the one who is eternal. I am the one by nature. I am eternal. By nature I am unborn. By nature I am all-knowing. Remain undisturbed. Don't give it too much value. We are not denying that it is not there. It is there. Pain is there. Joys are there. But to become joyful or miserable is our choice. If you don't become excited and you don't become miserable, you are equanimous. This knack we must develop. And the earlier we develop, एक बार पीछे पड़ जाओ और क्लिक हो जाने दो. एक बार क्लिक हो गया, then remain as that click all the time. The intellect remains quiet behind it. Now continuing in the 41st verse, 741st, ऐसी धैर्य राजे जेणे मन प्राण करणे स्वचेष्टांची संभाषणे सांड विजती मग आघवीची सडी ध्यानाच्या आंतोल्या मढी कोडी जती निरवडी योगाचिये परी परमात्मया चक्रवर्ती उगाणिती जवहाती तव लांचू न घेता धृती धरी जती जिया. ते गा धृति ये थे सात्विक हे निरुते आईक अर्जुना ते श्रीकांतु मणे. He says in this way that firm steadiness brings the functions of the mind, vital airs, and senses to a standstill and confines them through the power of yoga in the chamber of meditation. It then keeps them shut up there and prevents them from succumbing to any temptations until it delivers them to their Lord, the Supreme Self. And that's how you have become successful. That's how you have become good in your profession. That's how you drive a car. That's how you cook your meal. That's how you built your house. That's how you took care of your health, single pointedly. And still diseases are coming. You are not supposed to eat sugar. You were tempted to eat sugar. You are not supposed to eat ghee. You were tempted to eat ghee. Whatever we tell our mind not to do, it runs after it with a vengeance because we have not trained it. Dhriti, sattvic dhriti is that by which the mind, breath, and the senses lose their potency. And they lose their potency because their fluctuation is curtailed. Their fluctuation is curtailed. Their focus, instead of being, and remember how these verses began, pravrittim cha nivrittim cha. And after that the three buddhis were told, now the dhriti is told. Sattvic, rajasic and tamasic buddhi, and now dhriti. But the verse which came before that, 3-4 verses up before, it was pravrittim cha nivrittim cha. If you remember, it's the 30th verse. Pravrittim cha nivrittim cha karya karye bhaya bhaye bandham moksham cha yaveti buddhi sa partha satviki. It's seeking moksha, or it's actually beyond. Sattvic buddhi is that which is contemplating on that which is beyond bondage and liberation. See? Then so dhriti is that which stops the mind, breath and senses to be excited by the stimuli and remains and give and that way intellect has made the resolve, has made the conviction, but that conviction gets diluted when the mind, breath and the senses are not disciplined. And sometimes we sabotage our own conclusions. Many times you must have seen in your life. A classic example is New Year's resolution. Every year we make some resolutions and we never follow it through. Why? Mana, prana and indriyas are not disciplined. Who can discipline them? Dhruti, perseverance. So we have to invoke that strength. No means no. Otherwise we sit on the seat of meditation or we sit with our japamala and multiple windows are opened in our mind. Mouth is chanting Om Namah Shivaya, Om Namah Shivaya, Om Namah Shivaya, and the mind is thinking about, oh, I have to pay that bill, oh, I want the new model of that car, oh, I think there is a wonderful property possibility there for investment. Oh, my son hasn't called me for so many days. Om Namah Shivaya, Om Namah Shivaya. Mouth is chanting Om Namah Shivaya. This leads to scattering of our personality. Focus means where everything is in in line with each other. Otherwise, mind is thinking something, mouth is talking something, body is acting something. A recipe for disaster. And only when these come together, meaning Buddhi has decided, you make decision every morning, you do puja or you do meditation. You have made a decision, you have sat down. Now, what is that which is going? So, if you sit for meditation, are we able to straight away dive into meditation? Dive into the self and be the self? Or mind is giving you options? Or senses are telling you, oh, it's so cold, I think I need to increase the temperature. You get up, increase the temperature. Then you sit down. Oh, I think I need some shawl, then it will be nice and cozy. Again, you get up, you pick up the shawl, you sit and get cozy. Then you forget, I did not, I'm sitting on the very thin sheet. I think I need something more cushiony under myself so that my ankles don't hurt. Again, you get up, you find another blanket or something to put it down. And I'm just, you can keep adding, and suddenly you realize it's time to go to work. क्या खाक कर लिया meditation? And if you have not got up, sometimes you are sitting in meditation and you want to go, but mind has taken you on a trip. Suddenly you remember. And sometimes it will happen even when you are in the satsang. You are here, that's why everyone puts their cameras off. And then, see, you are here, and sometimes some word triggers something, or suddenly you go into reverie, you start thinking, acha wo karna hai, and suddenly you come back. Some word falls on your ears. Arey yaar, I missed last 2 minutes, I forgot. Kitna time I was missing in action here. Your eyes are looking at the screen. Your ears are also open. But your mind has taken you on some trip. Only you know that. I have got no choice. I can't be imagining and talking. I am 100%. बट लिस्निंग में कभी कभी नींद भी आ जाती है सुनते सुनते. Sometimes sleep also comes. When we started in the ashram, come on, 6 classes every day. We were not, our body was not used to it. In the initial days, class में बैठे हुए हैं, and this Swamiji is giving lecture, and we are going, and we'll show. No, I am absolutely, and then we'll do drama, that the topic is so sublime, and slowly the eyes are closing and you're gone into meditation, and then suddenly the jerk comes and you wake up and you show as if you have come out of meditation. You had gone to sleep, Baba. This is all the game of the mind. This is all the game of the mind. Yeah, this example Swamiji gave last week. He gave why last week? Yesterday also he gave. And the last week also he gave. The week before also he gave. He is telling that he doesn't know anything new or what. Same thing he is telling. Focus on the self, focus on the self. Same example. Yeah, theek hai. Now I can't get away. And so the moment you start thinking like this, suddenly the interest wanes. Before you know, you are gone to sleep. I'm not blaming you. I have gone through that in the class, in the ashram. Every student goes through it. But it is our resolve. It is our commitment to the goal. It is our faith that brings us out of the shackles of the mind, breath and the senses. Then what do we used to do? Oh, I have to, and suddenly we will in the class we'll start breathing consciously, or we'll put some saliva on our eyes. When that also didn't work, we started eating less so that energy level is high. You have to experiment. What is that which is triggering? Initially, you start with some physical, then you come to the breath, then you come to the mind, and you learn how to control the mind, how to keep it focused. Huh? It then keeps them shut up there and prevents them from succumbing to any temptations until it delivers them to their Lord. This is called Pratyahar stage. Dharana is, for dharana you require focus. When the focus becomes continuous, intermittent focus is called dharana, continuous focus is called dhyan, and when you merge into the one who is focusing and that which is focused upon, when they merge into each other, they become one, that is called samadhi. So now, last class also I told you, when you are practicing yama, when you are practicing niyama, when you are practicing asana, not necessarily any yoga asana. Right now you are having an asana, you are sitting in some position. Are you continuously fidgeting? So when you come to a satsang, past is past, future is future. Come into the present moment. Before coming to satsang, your preparation is throughout the day you have lived in the correct way. You have lived righteously in the dharmic way, but you are not committed adharma by manasa vacha kaya intentionally, and if it has happened unintentionally, you have resolved it and taken the responsibility. When you live your life 22 hours like that and you come to a satsang, it will be like a spark. It will catch you like anything. Each word will be potent then. So is yama leading to dharana, dhyan, samadhi? Is niyama practiced with our attention to dharana, dhyan, samadhi? Because that is our goal. Samadhi, knowing the self is our goal, isn't it? Our goal is that our attention on the subject, the essence, must be continuous. Why is it discontinuous? Why am I not able to focus? Because of some distractions. And that phase is called dharana. So is yama helping us to focus? Is niyama being practiced? And is it being practiced so that we are better able to focus in our meditation or in our japa? Is asana, when I am sitting, whatever I am doing, not only in satsang, wherever you sit, are you sitting? Do you take a position? Are you alert, or are you slumping and lazy and the body is not in your control, like a slob? Ever alert. I remember my mom's father, even when he was 86, he was a yogi. Even when he was 86, you will never see him sitting even at 86 like a question mark. If he's sitting on the sofa, he is ramrod straight. If he has to do japa, his spine is always straight. Even in a rocking chair, his spine is straight. See? Asan. We're talking about asan. Then pranayam. Is our breath conducive to our focus on the essence. Pratyahar is, then this is the the last parameter. Is the mind, what is pratyahar stage? Where the mind, even if the senses are open, mind is not ready to go out of the senses and get entangled in the objects of stimuli and stimuli. It is not interested only. And this can be artificially brought out. You do some pranayama, you do some asanas, you do some, you practice yama niyama. And many people, they have not heard of Vedanta, they have not gone to Gita, but they practice this. Majority of these people are doing this only. But they are not practicing yama niyama. That is where the problem is. But many people, many sadhu, sannyasis, brahmacharis, they practice. But it is an inert state of silence. It is jada samadhi. So mind is there, but it is not going out of the senses, and you feel you have achieved something. And you stop because you feel you have reached. You stop, and the mind with a vengeance goes back to the world. Now such a mind then has to be put to dharana, dhyan, samadhi. Dharana is intermittent focus. Dhyan is continuous focus. Samadhi is where the focuser and the focused become one. That is yoga. Yoga means union, isn't it? So what are we studying here? Are we wanting liberation? No. We saw in the 30th verse, what is Sattvic Buddhi? That which is contemplating on that which is beyond moksha, bandha and moksha, beyond bondage and liberation. These thoughts also are not in its vocabulary now. I want to be free of bondage. No. I want liberation. No. Who is the one who knows that these two concepts appear in the mind and go? See? So in this manner, so this is the stage. It then keeps them shut up there and prevents them from succumbing to any temptations. Who? Dhriti. Dhriti keeps the mind, breath and senses shut up in that box of pratyahar. It's an inert silence where the mind has withdrawn from the world. But in pratyahar stage, mind is not contemplating on the higher. All it has done is withdrawn from the world, and that's it. Acha, ab kya? What next? If you don't give it what next, it will go back to the world with all the power that it has harnessed. And therefore, goal, we are very clear what our goal is. The Atma Tattva, that we are that. So is pratyahar conducive to dharana, dhyan, samadhi? Is it helping? Is it a positive? Have our senses, breath and the mind become quietened? And why we are not moving from dharana to dhyan? It's only because some purification is required at yama, niyama, asana, pranayam, pratyahar. That is why you are not moving from dharana to dhyan or dhyan to samadhi. When these 5 steps become quietened, that very moment samadhi will take place. That very moment you will be with yourself. It depends whatever your focus is. delivers them to the Lord, the Supreme Self. That is the sattvic steadiness. So said the Lord of Goddess Lakshmi to Arjuna. Hmm? Now we come to the 34th verse, that is Rajasic Dhruti. Rajasic Dhruti. Yaya tu dharma kamarthan. Yaya tu dharma kamarthan. Dhrutya dharayate Arjuna. Dhrutya dharayate Arjuna. Prasangena falakankshi. Prasangena falakankshi. Dhruti sa partharajasi. Dhruti sa partharajasi. Together. Yaya tu dharma kamarthan. Dhrutya dharayate Arjuna. Prasangena falakankshi. Dhruti sa partharajasi. He says, but that steadiness by which one holds fast, to Arjuna, to duty, pleasure, and wealth through attachment, desiring their fruit, that steadiness, O Partha, arises from Rajas quality. Still, it is still Dhruti. It is still Dhruti. There, in the previous one, Sattvic Dhruti was which delivered you, which helped you to merge into the Supreme. What is Rajasic Dhruti helping you to for? What is this firmness, this resolve, this self-confidence, this inspiration, this steadiness? What is it delivering you? It is delivering you something from the world. It is delivering you the world. Because Rajasic mind, Rajasic intellect, Buddhi, will think about something in the world only. It will never think about the infinite. And therefore it is told that steadiness by which one holds fast to duty. Duty towards family, towards society, towards the country, towards the universe, towards God. To make money, to increase your portfolio. When money is in the pocket, then pleasure, I want to satisfy my desire. Then single pointedly you go after your desires. You may have a resolve. You have got no doubt that I will not achieve once I have decided. And you work towards it and you achieve it. It is the Dhruti which makes you achieve great heights in the world. And continue. I know one kid in Delhi, and his father he has done management. He's a general manager somewhere. Mother, it's okay, housewife. But the son, self-motivated, no classes, no tuition classes, got into IIT by himself. And the parents used to say, come on beta, chalo, we are going on a road trip, we are going to this national park, or we are going there. Either you go, I am studying. Not interested. Very rare to see among teenagers, but that is how he was. He wants to be a scientist. And he is working towards it. He wants to join ISRO. And his goal is that way, and his trajectory is that way, and he is working towards it. He doesn't need anyone to motivate. His parents, when I meet them, they say, we never even once have told him that you must study. Our problem is, beta, come and watch TV sometimes, beta, come and eat food. He forgets everything. He is so lost into the studies. Ulta hai. Our parents used to only beat us up to, hey, study, at least 1 hour you study. We never used to study. This fellow only studies. They have to scold him to come out of the room to socialize. So what has made him get into IIT? This steadiness of purpose, no? And he's working towards it. He's not allowing his mind to get distracted, even if it is by his parents. Even if it is by his parents. His goal to join as a scientist in ISRO is overpowering every activity in his life and he is working towards it. He chooses not to watch movies. If he comes to the डाइनिंग टेबल 5 मिनट में खा खट खुट खट खट खा के अपने फिर वापस कमरे में चला जाएगा. He doesn't want to mix with people. Why? No, I want to. He is always upping the ante for himself in studies. But his goal is what? Something in the world. Someone wants to be an astronaut, someone wants to be a scientist, someone wants to be. Our parents came to Australia, they must have also thought something, isn't it? And they worked towards it. They did not allow. How will we? So many doubts. Salary only so much. In that, how many? $100 they got when they came to Australia. $100 in 80s. With $100 they came here. But will this question must not have come to their mind. But how will we go? What if my $100 finish, and then how will I live, and how will I eat, and how will I do this, and how will I? If they had given to all those options the mind was giving, they would have never stepped on the plane to Australia. Isn't it? Ask yourself. I see so many cases in our house. One of the boys, for 1.5 years, he was with his wife and a kid, and he did not have a job. And within 5 years, now he has 2-3 houses, got a good job, he's in defense, got a contract with the defense. Fantastic. But life tested him. So what keeps us on the path is this dhriti, even in the world, isn't it? So yes, Sattvic dhriti was on the path to the truth. Rajasic dhriti is the perseverance which keeps us on the path to whatever the goal in the world. Jnaneshwar Maharaj says, आणि होनिया शरीरी स्वर्ग संसाराच्या दोही घरी नांदे जो पोट भरी त्रिवर गोपाये तो मनोरथांच्या सागरी धर्मार्थ कामांच्या तारुवावरी जेणे धैर्य बळे करी क्रिया वणिज जे कर्म भांडवला सूये तयाची चौगुणे येती पाहे ये वढे सायास साहे जया धृती ते गा धृती राजस पार्थायेत परीयेस आता ऐकतामस तिसरी जे का. He says here, when the embodied self remains in the enjoyment of duty, wealth and sensuous pleasures in both the heaven and the earth. So when we are lost in duty, karma, and we don't call it karma, we call it dharma. And our definition of dharma is duty towards the children, duty towards the parents, duty towards the society, duty towards the world, duty towards the environment, social duties. And not stop there. Abhi Pitru Paksh complete ho gaya na kal. So duty towards the ancestors, and then duty towards the gods. I must do my duty. I have to do my Agnihotra every morning. I have to light the lamp every morning. Why? I want to go to heaven. I want their blessings. If you are seeking blessings from them, you have forgotten. Such a person, Sattvic fellow, what we will say? His focus is on the self, on the infinite principle. Rajasic dhriti, he is forgetting that he is the self. He thinks he is the product of the world, in the world, and is going to eventually go out of the world. Sattvic dhriti or Sattvic buddhi will never come to this conclusion. Sattvic buddhi will be convinced that I am the source. I don't know it, that's a different matter. But scriptures say I am that. So this knowing business has to cut out of the way. I have to keep working towards what is the error that is taking place in my contemplation, and he keeps working towards the atma, towards the self, of being the self. The sattvic buddhi is, the goal is to dissolve the panchakoshas, whereas rajasic buddhi is, it is not dissolving the panchakoshas, it is using the panchakoshas to achieve the goal in the world. And to, if it is to be achieved, okay, to be achieved, you need the resolve there, you need the firmness of purpose, you need the self confidence. So, here when it says the sensual pleasures in both heaven and the earth, so when we talk about duty, dharma, for such a rajasic person, duty is only like in our Kathopanishad. The father of Nachiketa is doing the Vishwajit Yagya for what? For going to heaven. He is giving away all his wealth for what? Not to realize, only to go to heaven. In that also he is doing corruption. See? So, now you can see the difference between sattvic buddhi and rajasic buddhi, sattvic resolve and rajasic resolve. Rajasic resolve, rajasic firmness is, I have decided I want to join ISRO, I will keep working towards it. A goal, a result is in the mind. In sattvic, there is no result, because you are that. There is no result there. Here there is a desire. Sensual pleasures in both heaven and the earth. He carries on his business of the above three aims of life in the sea of desires. What are the three aims? Dharma, artha, kama. He'll follow his duties, he'll generate wealth, and he'll, when wealth is there, satisfy the desires. So what is the duty? If you have not studied the scriptures, you are not exposed to the scriptures, you have not gone to a gurukul or ashram, you have not had a teacher in your life in the young age. And many students, I know, I have taught so many kids even in Melbourne, but even after they are grown up, they are forgotten. One day it will click. One day it will click. Because they may have been coming to the class only to please their parents. They may have been coming to the classes only to network with their friends. Okay. I don't want to discount completely. Some seed will be there. So when the attention is not on the highest, the rajasic person, only dharma, artha, kama. When we do everything, such a person is doing everything righteously, he is a good person. He is not a rajasic person, he is not a bad person. He is a good person. He is following his dharma. He is generating wealth. He is helping not only his family, his near and dears, but many other people also he is helping. But he is not able to give up all this entanglement in the world, or he is not able to take away his attention from all this. to the infinite. So here when it says prasangena falakankshi, he always gets entangled in the world with a result in mind. The one with the Rajasic Dhriti, with a result in mind. Falakankshi. He wants a particular result. Things must happen in this way. I'll invest in this only if I get this return. When he sees that by investing capital in the form of actions, he reaps fourfold profit from it, he conducts his affairs with steadiness. See? What is steadiness? SIP pe laga do steadiness. Every month the SIP keeps going into the mutual fund. Steadiness. You don't have to think, automatic. Rajasic person is always, his attention is on the result. He has an axe to grind. And anyone who is involved and is wanting a result, who wants a lower result? Everyone wants a better result, isn't it? And that, to minimum investment, maximum return, that is leverage. And when he sees that, hey, here is an opportunity, real estate opportunity, shares opportunity, or this opportunity, or that opportunity, restaurant खोल दो, ये कर दो, वो कर दो. Why? Opportunity. If I look at this, my God, it's such a small restaurant, only one shack, and I've been watching for 1 hour. You know how many people have come and gone and taken the food from this one small shack. He must be making anything, nothing less than 1.5 lakh rupees every day. Wow. I think I should also look for some investment like this. This is good. Minimum space, maximum return. And 1 staff required, 2 staff required only. No overhead, too much overheads. One of my friends, he opened a restaurant in the Bombay airport, like this only. अभी भी है शायद, सिंधी है, देखा हाँ यहाँ पे अच्छा है, पुट द मनी, अभी चल रहा है बढ़िया. But why did he put it? Because he wants a return. Attention is on the return. Minimum investment, maximum benefit. When the possibility of maximum benefit is there, your mind, breath, senses, everything gets focused on that maximum benefit. Any opportunity, you will invest in that. You are always, your antenna is up looking for such opportunity and making sure you see through that investment, reach its and that it gives its required return. देखो, this is how people are going to work every day because they get a return. Otherwise, who will go to work? He conducts his affairs with steadiness. He is not, as regards investment, he is not disturbed. As regards, some ladies are there, they are so particular that their house has to be absolutely clean all the time. Because they take pride in that this house is me. This is my extension. And I don't want anyone to see it dirty, and it should. And they keep it clean all the time. All the time. कुछ भी थोड़ा सा भी गिर गया, husbands complain to me in front of their wives. स्वामी जी, मैं यहाँ पे बैठ के मैं खाना लेके गार्डन में जाके खाता हूँ कि कुछ गिरेगा तो birds will eat. If I sit at the dining table and eat, and if something falls down, immediately she comes, gives me two or three verbal slaps, and then collects whatever the crumbs I've dropped. Then I feel guilty. I what to do? ऐसे भी होते हैं. But she takes pride. She takes pride. Her result, what is her result orientation? The house should be always clean. The clothes should be always neat and tidy. Result oriented. हमारी तरह नहीं. किसी को समझ आ रहा है तो आए, नहीं आ रहा है तो हु केयर्स. अपना बोलते रहो. कोई रिजल्ट नहीं है. लगे रहो मुन्ना भाई. बोलते जा रहे हैं, बोलते जा रहे हैं. कीप स्पीकिंग. He conducts his affairs with steadiness. Such people are workaholics also. I remember I have one friend in Sydney. 24 hours. He doesn't work. What does he do? He is a good programmer, and he has made some program or something, and he gets royalty also on share market. And he is whole 24 hours for last I don't know how many 20 years now. He is always sitting in front of his computer. घर से ही काम करता है बस. When the shares are down, he puts the money. When the shares are up, he takes out the money. And यही करता रहता है पूरा दिन. And he has written some programs or something. And if you tell him, यार इधर आजा या उधर आजा, sometimes when I go to Sydney and school friends we meet together, नहीं यार, I'm busy, but I will come, but if I got some work I will go into another room. He is focused. See, he's firm. My father, when he started doing meditation, seeing my grandfather and myself always sitting in meditation, he also started. I think 6-7 years before he passed away, he started that. And a point came in his life, wherever he is, in anyone's house, any party, any gathering, 10 o'clock he has to sleep because he gets up at 3:30 in the morning. And he didn't care whose house people feel bad, feel good. He says, you wake me up when it's time to go. And he'll go quietly, he'll go, yeah, where is the bedroom? he'll go, if there is no bedroom, he'll sleep on the carpet itself. And
alert from low battery.
Nicely. One moment. Arey yaar. Nicely, and the moment he lays down, he goes to sleep. Lucky compared to many people. But 3:30 he has to get up. Resolve we are talking about. Not getting distracted. Yes, the result is I want to get up in the morning. A desire is there, a result orientation is there. The firmness with which he exerts himself is called a rajasic steadiness. Now I shall tell you the characteristics of tamasic steadiness. And this rajasic steadiness also you will see when we are moving in the world and we have just started on this path and we have given up coffee, we have given up smoking, we have given up drinks, we have given up meat, and many times people want to break your resolve, isn't it? they try all these underhand tricks, but you remain steady. Sometimes the desire comes क्या फर्क पड़ता है एक बार ट्राई कर लिया तो. But the inner voice, that resolve comes forth. No, one is also too much. Stay away. See? So this is all in this world. So when we are committed, what is our result orientation? That I want to do my japa, that I am on the spiritual path, I am studying the scriptures, I am doing my sadhana, and drinking, smoking, eating, and not only meat, overeating is also a problem. So I discipline myself. All that is because of rajasic firmness, rajasic resolve. Now coming to the tamasic. यया स्वप्नं भयं शोकं यया स्वप्नं भयं शोकं विषादं मदमेव च विषादं मदमेव च न विमुञ्चति दुर्मेधा न विमुञ्चति दुर्मेधा धृति सा पार्थ तामसी धृति सा पार्थ तामसी. टुगेदर. यया स्वप्नं भयं शोकं विषादं मदमेव च न विमुञ्चति दुर्मेधा धृति सा पार्थ तामसी. That by which a dull-witted person does not forego sleep, fear and grief, as also despair and delusion, that steadiness, O Partha, arises from tamas quality. Here, see, what is dhruti? We said firmness, isn't it? Resolve. What is the resolve? Here, resolve is he does not forego sleep. Such a person, you go to your husband and say, "Oh, darling, get up. Sun is about to rise. You have to do your Sandhya Vandan. You have to take shower." Tamasic dhruti, he'll say, "Where's the sun?" She says, "Turn this way." He turns the other way. He says, "When the sun rises from the west, then I'll get up." Why? He turns around, turns his face to the west. The sun is never going to rise from the west. He is going to continue sleeping. Lazy bum. No discipline. Fear, always living in fear. अब देखते हैं अभी क्या बोलते हैं ज्ञानेश्वर महाराज. And grief, and also despair and delusion. बाप रे, सभी कुछ मिले. Everything is there. Huh? Where are we? Swapnam wants to continue indulging in the dream. थोड़ा और अभी नहीं. Fear, shokam. Shoka is grief. Vishada is crisis or identity crisis, or despondency is Vishada. Depression. And madameva is delusion. Na vimunchiti durvedha. He does not want to let them go away because he identifies with them so much. You know, some people you must have heard, I am very afraid of spiders. I am very afraid of cockroaches. Is it a proud thing that you are declaring that you are afraid of spiders or cockroaches? Is it something to be proud of? Is it something to declare to the whole world? Or is it a shortcoming within you, and you are finding a way within you how to overcome it? They are not looking for a way out. They are not looking for a way to overcome it. Because that fear they identify with, and that has become their personality. I get up Baba 10, 11 o'clock. So everyone knows ये कुंभकर्ण है, ये कुंभकर्णी है. Who is this person? Oh, Mr. A. Oh, Mr. A. Oh, he is afraid of even an ant. Who is Mr. B? Oh, you don't know who they are, but you know this much because they have declared it so many times, advertised it so many times. Who is afraid even of a cat or a dog? I will tell you funny things. One of the person I know, old friend of mine, if they come to meet me, and in earlier days, nowadays here it is not possible, but when before joined the ashram and all, we used to go to someone's house and have a sleepover, or they will come. Whenever he used to come, he will never sleep over. Why? It is not my bed. I need my cushion, and I need my duna, and I need my mattress. Is this something to be proud of? Is this something to be attached with? Just like we are attached with our dream, and we want to see what its conclusion is. So थोड़ा और बिस्तर में पड़े रहो 12 बजे तक. Similarly, fears. And then because of that, all the grief and all the diseases, then all the mental complications that come about. See, it was so common when we are talking to each other. Sometimes we touch on the shoulder or touch on the arm, or you care for a young kid, you put your hand on their head, or just as a tap कर दिया, out of affection or out of play. You are playing with them. Today you cannot do that. They take it as an affrontation, and they don't care that you are 3 times their age. They immediately retort back to you. They have become touch me not, and they are proud of it. They don't see anything wrong in it. This is all tamasic. They have become firm in their negative resolve. Still resolve, no? Sattvic resolve, Rajasic resolve, no Tamasic resolve. And they are feeding it again and again and again. It has become. And these are the people who are going mental in this lockdown, who become depressed, who come out on streets against the government. I know one person in Melbourne. I know one person, old friend. About 25 years ago, I knew that lady and her husband. He was a chef, and she was doing some network marketing. I don't know what she does now, but she doesn't want to take the jab. Why? I think the pharmaceutical companies have purposely started all this, and they are experimenting on us, and after some time we will all become zombies and they will send us to Mars. Blah blah. What story? मैंने कहा यार ठीक है. And she believes it. She is entitled to her opinion. What can you do? But she keeps repeating the same tape recorder in her mind again and again and again and again. That is what resolve does, no? The firmness to follow the path that you have chosen. You decide the destination and you walk the path. Dhruti makes you walk on that path to reach that destination which you have made for yourself. So is it a sattvic destination? Is it in sattvic registration the goal is the self, the Paramatma, the Brahma Vidya? In Rajas it is something in this world or the other world, but it's still within this world. And in Tamas, Again, you have a firm resolve to live with. You are proud of your fears. You are convinced that you are like this, that you are a deluded person, that you are a mad person, that you are a stupid person, that you are a doormat, that you are having phobia of this or that or that. And it goes on. There's no end to that. So here he says, this tamasic, did we read the Sanskrit Marathi one? Yes, we did. This tamasic steadiness is made up of all heinous qualities, as coal is formed of a black substance when they call such a mean and base thing as a quality. Is darkness a quality? No. Darkness is not a quality. Absence of quality is darkness. You understand? Absence of quality is darkness. Absence of light is darkness. Darkness as such is not an element. Absence of light is darkness. But when you start saying darkness is a quality, ignorance is a quality, delusion is a quality, fear is a quality, and that I am. तथास्तु. तथास्तु. क्या कर सकते हैं ऐसे बंदे को? Why then call such a mean and base thing as a quality? Why call ignorance a quality? Why call darkness a quality? But do we not describe a demon as meritorious person, punya jana? There is a new program that someone was telling me. In India, they have started some miscreants. They have started that Lord Ram, is the bad person and Ravana is the good person. So they are propagating the noble qualities of Ravana, and he has become the ideal of these people. When I was in Iraq, there were Shias, there were Sunnis, there were Christians, but there were devil worshippers also there. On the border of Kurdistan and Iraq. They used to, for them, their god was the demon. These are all the black magic people and all these. Whom do they pray to? They pray to all darkness only. Ghosh, Bhoot, Pishach. That's why Hanumanji, Bhoot, Pisach, Nikat nahi aave, Mahabir jab naam sunave. But such people, why do we not describe a demon as a meritorious person? We also call the planet Mars, which burns like a live coal, as auspicious Mangala. So the word quality is employed in respect of the tamas quality without much thought. It has a close relation with sloth, and sleep does not leave a tamasic person. What are the avenues in which the tamasic person goes? Nidra, ahar, nidra, maithunan, cha. Eating, sleeping, and copulating. So the word quality is employed in respect of the tamas quality without much thought. It has a close relation with sloth, and sleep does not leave a tamasic person, as misery does not desert a person who nurtures sin. Huh? See, if you go to Europe, when I was living in Europe, I also became like that only. What? Nobody drinks water there. The city which I was living in Switzerland, nobody drank water. Nobody drank water. Then what did they drink? They drank only beer or carbonated water, sparkling water. Sparkling water is that which has carbon dioxide in it. Carbonated water, like Perrier and Evian. You get Evian nowadays in India, which is only clear water, but there you get it with sparkle. So everyone used to drink carbonated water. We also 3 years, not 3 years, for quite some time I drank that. But every now and then the thirst used to come. नहीं यार ये क्या फालतू का है? And I will drink and drink and drink the normal water. But because of that carbonated water, carbon is dark. Carbon is dark. It is black. It is negative energy. Our body needs oxygen, doesn't need carbon. And that will create many issues in your body later on. Health issues, if you keep drinking that throughout your life. Same way, misery does not desert a person who nurtures sin. How do you perform sin? हो गया time. अच्छा फटाफट. How do you nurture sin? Manasa vacha kaya. We'll talk more about it next time. Nurture sin. Just as a stone does not lose its hardness, so fear does not leave. अरे काफी है यार अभी. Leave him as he is attached to the body and wealth. As sin never deserts an ungrateful person, grief dwells in him because of his attachment to worldly things. We will read. We'll continue next class. Lot to cover. So all this is not to judge other people, what we are reading and what we are listening. What we are explaining is for self-application. Vedanta is for self-application. Love, acceptance, sacrifice when we interact with the world. But what do? We love ourselves and we apply Vedanta on others. Please don't do that. It is for self-assessment. With others in the world, whoever it is, interact with love, devotion, sacrifice, non-judgment. Om Purnamada Purnamidam Purnaat Purnamudachyate Purnasya Purnamadaya Purnameva Vashishyate. Om Shanti Shanti Shanti. Hari Om Shri Gurubhyo Namaha. Hari Om.